Hey guys, this is Chris the Bass Guy. I saw a few of the other Cartridge Club members did a video on their top 5 most expensive NES games, and I thought this might be a fun video to do. The NES is my favorite console to collect for, and I don't really keep track of the value of the games in my collection, so I was kind of surprised to see what made my top 5. So let's get into it. So at number 5, I have SCAT, Special Cybernetic Attack Team. I'm a big fan of shooters, and this one I learned about from Mike Matei's YouTube video, Top 10 Obscure NES Gems. I read a little bit about it in Pat Contry's book, The Ultimate Guide to the NES, and I guess it was the Curious acronym that pulled me in. This is a shoot 'em up by Natsumi. It is known as Final Mission on the Famicom. It is the year 2029, and an army of alien invaders led by the vile Malmort has installed an astro-tube connecting the ruins of New York City with their space station. You play as one of the special cybernetic team members, which are part human, part machine soldiers. You can play as the male character Arnold or the female character Sigourney, which are not so subtle nods to the action stars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sigourney Weaver. There's a 2-player co-op mode where one player plays as Arnold and the other plays as Sigourney. In SCAT, you start off flying through the rubble of New York, slowly making your way to the alien space station. Each character has satellites that orbit around them and fire in whichever direction they're facing, and fire simultaneously with your character, so it's possible to fire in all 8 directions. The player can stop the satellites from moving around their character by tapping A. As you play as Arnold or Sigourney, you fly through each stage shooting enemies, picking up power-ups along the way. Each stage alternates between horizontal and side-scrolling portions until you reach the boss. This game is interesting because you don't actually have lives, but instead have hit points and unlimited continues. When you exhaust all of your hit points, you die and continue from the beginning of the stage. So number 4 is Wayne's World. Now this is not a good game. It's made by the infamous publisher THQ, who is known for making terrible movie and TV licensed games on many different video game platforms. I guess I wanted this game because Wayne's World was one of my favorite movies growing up, but mostly because I was pulled back into retro gaming by the Angry Video Game Nerd's video review of this game. I guess let me back up a minute. When I was in college for my master's, I was having trouble finding a job, so I took a job at the university mailroom. And during our downtime, I was able to surf the web, and I ran across an NES Flash player. One of the games I found was Wayne's World, and it played horribly, but I wanted to beat it. So during some research of the game, I happened across the AVGN video review, which was probably around 2009. I went down the retro gaming video review rabbit hole, and through the Cinemassacre site I found Pat the NES Punk and Retroware TV, and I've been watching retro gaming videos ever since. I've been playing retro games on and off since probably 98, but I didn't grab this game until earlier this year. I actually passed it up at a video game store last Christmas. In Wayne's World, you, well, very loosely, follow the plot of the movie. You alternate between Garth, who for some reason shoots a taser gun at enemies, or Wayne, who kicks enemies with either high kicks, low kick, or spin kick. The manual says Wayne learned the karate moves from his girlfriend Cassandra. The game's pretty short. It only consists of about 5 levels, and after each one there's a cutscene. The first level is Kramer's Music Store, which is full of musical instruments that attack Wayne and Garth. The second is the Gasworks, where Cassandra's band was playing in the movie, and you have to fight bouncers and other club goers. The third is the alleyway, where you're attacked by ninjas and black cats. The fourth is Benjamin's Chicago studio, where you fight TV screens, electrical cords, and security guards. And then the last one is Benjamin's condo, who's the villain in Wayne's World. And after each level, you recharge at Stan Mikita's donut shop, picking up randomly placed donuts off shelves. The gameplay is bland. The game is short, not very good, but it does hold a special place in my collection. At number 3, you have Fire and Ice. Now, Fire and Ice is a puzzle platformer that was turned on by my friend John Chapman, aka Ursa's Rage, on Twitter. I played it at a flashcard at his place. I really love the pixel art of the game, as well as the opening animations that I saw, and I love the gameplay. I knew it was an uncommon game, but I didn't know how expensive it was until I searched out a copy on eBay. Fire and Ice was published and developed by Tecmo, and is a sequel to Solomon's Key. It is known as Solomon's Key in Europe and Solomon no Kaji to Kurimichu Kuji Shuzitsu Sakusin, or Solomon's Key to Coolment Rescue Mission in Japan. It's a puzzle platform that takes place on Coolment Island, the home of the Winter Fairies. So in this story, Coolment Island was attacked by the evil wizard Drudley, who released flames all over the ice island. So the Winter Fairies decide that they have to do something, so they picked a young wizard named Dana to extinguish the flames. So he plays the apprentice wizard Dana, and you extinguish the flames by dropping or kicking ice blocks on the flames that are placed all around the stage. The stages become more complex as the game moves on, and there are 10 worlds, each with 10 stages, and each ending with a boss stage. So there are 10 worlds and 10 stages, each ending with a boss stage, which is just an excuse to show a boss character in a cutscene. You simply have to solve the boss's puzzle by putting out the flames. I've only played the first 2 worlds, but I really want to put some more time in the game and beat it. The second most expensive game in my NES collection is DuckTales 2. I have a lot of nostalgia for all the cartoons from the Disney afternoon, especially DuckTales. I remember all the characters and the theme songs burned in my brain. The game is great. It's not as good as the original, but it still holds its own. It had a limited production run. It was released in 1993, which is pretty late in the NES life cycle. All the controls are there. The satisfying cane pogo, the smacking bowlers into enemies with Scrooge's cane, and they added a mechanic where Scrooge can pull stones with his cane to reach higher platforms. There are several hidden areas and things to find, and even a hidden level. They also introduced a shop with several new items. A cake to replenish health, extra lives, you can buy extra HP, and you can buy continues as well. The only problem I have with the game is it's really short. In DuckTales 2, you play as Scrooge McDuck, and with the help of his nephews, you search for the hidden treasure left by Fergus McDuck, which is Scrooge's father. Scrooge then goes on an expedition to find the missing pieces. What he doesn't know is that his rival Flintheart Glomgold is also after the lost treasure McDuck. You control Scrooge McDuck, and with the help of his nephews Gizmo Duck and Launchpad, you travel to Niagara Falls, the Bermuda Triangle, Mu, Egypt, and Scotland, and picking up artifacts and treasures along the way. So this is a fun game that can be found on the Disney Afternoon Collection on PSN, Steam, and the Xbox One. I would definitely recommend it. It's only an hour and a half. So most expensive NES game in my library is Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers 2. So I have a lot of nostalgia for the Disney Afternoon cartoons, and I remember watching Tailspin, Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, Darkwing Duck, Adventures of Gummy Bears, and Goof Troop, to name a few. Not to mention Gargoyles, Bonkers, and the Mighty Ducks. My favorite cartoons from its 10-year run were Rescue Rangers and DuckTales. So I watched those episodes over and over again, and the theme songs were so memorable. This game is about as difficult as the original game in the series, but they got rid of the selectable map with the branching paths, so the game's a little more linear. The game starts with the Rescue Rangers watching a TV news report mentioning a bomb has been set to explode at a local restaurant. And as they're leaving, the same report mentions that Fat Cat has escaped from prison. You then go to the restaurant to defuse the bomb, only to find out that the Water Rabbit had set the bomb as a diversion so that Fat Cat could steal the urn of the Pharaoh from a docked cargo ship. You eventually retrieve the urn, setting up a showdown with Fat Cat at a local restaurant park. Along the way, the Rescue Rangers must platform horizontally or vertically through each stage, dispatching enemies along the way by picking up crates and throwing them. The bosses of each stage are dispatched in the same way, but you have to wait for them to either drop or throw an item that can be thrown back at them. There's also a bonus stage where you earn extra lives by throwing a ball upwards at 2 flying targets. While this game is not as good as the first, I'd still recommend it. It's a good time. So those are my top 5 most expensive NES games. I thought I would throw a few honorable mentions in that didn't quite make the cut. that's it. What do you guys think of my list? Let me know in the comments below. I'm still thinking about what sort of content I want to put on my channel, but it'll most likely revolve around retro gaming. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. I'll see you guys next time. Later. Bye.